Today I'm taking a look at Soul, Pixar's 23rd feature film, also giving some quick thoughts on the Pixar SparkShort Burrow. In Soul, Joe Gardner receives the opportunity of a lifetime to play piano for the Dorothea Williams Quartet. Unfortunately, it happens the same day he falls into a manhole, sending him into eternity. However, Joe avoids the great beyond and ends up in the great before, where souls are located before they are born on Earth. He meets a soul named 22. Joe doesn't want to die, 22 doesn't want to live, so they work together to make sure each other gets what the other wants. That was probably the longest synopsis I've given in one of these reviews, and really it still only covers a small fraction of the plot. There is a lot going on in Soul, and I have to admit this is probably the first Pixar film that seems geared more toward adults than kids, even more so than Up. I appreciate good world building, something Pixar does exceptionally well, but there is so much exposition setting up the great before and the rules of the afterlife that I think a lot of kids might lose interest. Is that a problem? Not necessarily. It doesn't make Soul a bad film, not at all. But movies like Monsters Incorporated, Wall-E, and Inside Out all built their worlds in a way that captivated children without taking too much time. With Soul, it feels as if every few lines or every other scene in the first half is setting up some sort of rule or a deus ex machina to be referenced later. And again, I respect the world building, but here's the thing. Pixar has always specialized in creating movies for kids that held their parents' attention. Here they've created a movie for adults that does not hold a lot of kids' attention. When my family watched Soul, my wife and I loved it. My daughter left the room about probably halfway through. It was about the time really when Graham Norton's character was introduced, and that whole introduction with him and the chakras and stuff went way over her head. But regarding the characters in Soul, Jamie Foxx gives an enthusiastic vocal performance as the likable lead Joe Gardner, Graham Norton energetic as Moonwind, and I also love the voices of the Soul counselors, and especially Rachel House as the antagonist Terry. But I felt Tina Fey was a little miscast here. All the other new souls, they sound like children, and while the movie explains why 22 sounds like, and I quote, this is how they put it, not me, this is how they put it, middle-aged white woman, again, it's something I wish that they hadn't, I wish that they hadn't gone for a celebrity and instead cast an actual kid or a young actor. After all, Joe Gardner is a middle school teacher, so why not have the soul that he teaches and who in turn teaches him be an actual young person?
It's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
As for the animation, come on, it's Pixar, it's going to be great. Whether the imaginative afterlife or the bustling New York, they bring these places to life in the way that I think the movie should be considered for best cinematography. Not to go down a rabbit hole here, but if Life of Pi can win with all of its admittedly gorgeous CGI, I feel like a Pixar film should at least be eligible. The score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross is soothing. The score is inventive, but if I'm being honest, it didn't stand out to me in the way that, for instance, Michael Giacchino's or Thomas Newman's work for Pixar has in Inside Out and Wall-E, respectively. If it sounds like I'm being down on Soul, don't get me wrong. There are some scenes in the movie that will be hailed among Pixar's best. Whether it's Joe having a conversation with his barber or a piano composition that will result in tears for many people. Plus, the movie is funny. The movie aims for quality over quantity in the joke department, and I laughed out more here than I have for several of Pixar's other films, but most of the jokes are going to go right over kids' heads. Without going into spoilers, I'm hearing a lot of folks comment that Soul pulls its punches in the ending, and I see where they're coming from, but I think the ending that Pixar chose works very well for this type of movie. It still hit the right note for me. So do I recommend Soul? Absolutely. It's one of my favorite movies of last year, and I'd place it among Pixar's top-tier films. It's a beautiful film about finding your spark and purpose in life, especially when life does not go as planned. Don't be surprised if maybe you like it more than your kids do. I give Soul 3.5 out of 4 stars. I also want to mention the Pixar short Burrow, the latest project from the studio's SparkShorts series. Burrow was set to play before Soul in theaters, but instead it joined Soul in premiering on Disney+. Directed by Madeline Sharafian, Burrow uses 2D animation to tell the story of a bunny who's trying to build himself a new home underground, but every which way he tunnels, he discovers more and more unwanted neighbors. Burrow is a charming short that parents and kids will enjoy. The 2D animation is delightful and works very well with this type of story that calls to mind other tales such as The Wind in the Willows. Burrow looks like a children's book come to life. There's no dialogue, but the visual humor is smile-worthy. Best of all, Burrow features a nice message about working together, helping one another, and not being afraid to ask for help. Comparing Burrow to other Pixar theatrical shorts is difficult because this one is so different than the others. That said, I'm really enjoying Pixar's SparkShorts series, where the studio allows creatives to maybe think outside the box more so and take more risks than they might be able to in the major films. Overall, I'd give Burrow 3 out of 4 stars. Have you seen Soul and or Burrow? What did you think of them? How did they compare to Pixar's other projects? Let me know in the comments below. Please click that like button and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter. Until next time, this has been Josh. Thanks for watching.